Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Mental Health Impact Series show. Today is season 2 and episode 24. Before we get started today and introduce our very special guest, we have some facts for you. Today's topic of discussion is understanding yourself through self awareness. But did you know self awareness involves being aware of different aspects of self, including traits, behaviors, and feelings? Did you know when we are self aware, we are able to recognize our emotions, we are able to empathize with others, and when we lack self awareness, we have a harder time understanding and improving our reactions. Today, our special guest is Abida Rahman. She is a self awareness, a transformational coach. She's also an author, educator, and a speaker. I actually got connected to Abida via the Clubhouse app. And when I heard her speak and the way she spoke was so impactful that we had to bring her on our show. So without any further ado, welcome Abida. How are you doing today?
Hi, Aanchal. Thank you so much for having me here. I am doing fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Have a little bit of allergies today, but you know what? We're pushing through.
Yeah, man, that's resilience for you. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
so
Avita, why don't we start today with talking, if you are able to share a little bit more about yourself, perhaps a bit about your professional background and what that journey has looked like that has brought you here today. Because you are a self-awareness and a transformational coach, an author, an educator. What has that journey looked like?
oh man, it's so weird because I feel like coaching chose me. It wasn't a calling that I chose. It was something that just kind of landed in my lap through everything that I've gone through. Basically, my real journey probably started after I got divorced in 2009. And that's when my real self journey started. I knew there was a lot of things about myself that I didn't really like or that I approved of, especially when I wanted to show up for this world and be of service to this world. And the only way that I could really fix that is by looking inward, doing the work of understanding, doing the work of it, anything that's related to getting to know myself on a deeper level. And that's essentially what opened up my whole like career for coaching. I do work for the city of Toronto by day. That's my basic job. But I'm currently completing my coaching program. And eventually, once I do have that coaching certification, I would like to collaborate with other industry leaders and basically create programs and teach people about the importance of self awareness. A lot of people, as you mentioned, the self awareness is so key to building relationships not only with yourself but with other people. When you're not self-aware, you do lack empathy, you do lack all sorts of emotional intelligence. And I think having these kind of conversations and me personally exposing a lot of my own weaknesses and comfortably doing this and holding space for other people to do that, that level of self-awareness is what I want to teach to the world. And I think it's critical life lesson. And only when you experience it can you understand it. Because I can sit here and talk about self-awareness all day, every day, but it's going to go through one ear and out the other for somebody who hasn't actually experienced it. So I think for me, my career, eventually it all boils down to this, just to be my authentic self and show up for this world as both the good Abida and the bad Abida and have no problem sharing both sides. So that's basically where I'm at now.
Oh my God, I love that.
That's great. It's hard because I know a lot of people, the way society is, there's so much of an emphasis on just looking a certain way and being healthy physically. But people are lacking the understanding that just because you look a certain way and you look good doesn't mean you're healthy, right? There's this huge emphasis on weight loss and this and that. But what about the weight that you're carrying mentally? What about the weight that you're carrying spiritually? You know what I mean? And that's the kind of stuff that we need to normalize. We need to be able to talk to each other and say, okay, yeah, you lost like 30 pounds, but what about all the junk in your mind that you're still holding on to? What about all that toxic junk that you're still holding on spiritually that is affecting your personal growth? So these are the kind of things that I want people to get comfortable talking about, sharing with each other, having these kind of difficult conversations with loved ones, family, friends. So many of our problems would be solved if we just had that conversation. And that's where I'm at. I want to hold these kind of conversations for other people safely. I want to encourage them by not being afraid, not being shamed, not feeling judged. And if people are, oh, well, do it. Still be authentic, still share these stories because the ones who are real will appreciate it. And the ones who aren't, well, they're not going to be in your life anyway.
That's so wise, Abida. Thank you for sharing that and shedding light on that. So profound. So let's take this and sort of try to dig slightly deeper for the audience that is tuned in.
Mhm.
Let's say there is someone in your example, someone that's working on their physical health, but they're not taking care of their mental health. They're not acknowledging or working through or healing,
Yeah.
the past traumas. What steps could we take as a community to encourage that person, or what could we do to help that person?
Honestly, it's showing up as ourselves and talking about the things that are impacting us. We have to lead by example. That's the only way. Sometimes it's just crazy to think about it. When I post about happy things in my life, especially on social media, I get I get the likes, I get the, comments and stuff like that, and I get a little bit of engagement. But when I am showing up as my worst self or that I'm struggling, that's when I get the most support from my audience, from everybody, from my friends, my family, because they kind of look at me like, holy shit, like, hmm, this girl just admitted this. I don't know, just a little quick backstory, but 2 to 3 years ago, I was dealing with addiction. I was dealing with a lot of mental health issues that just kind of sprung up. Everything was perfect in my life. Everything was going great. I started my business. I sold out of all my products. Everything was going fantastic. I got into an amazing relationship, but then something hit me like a 10-ton truck. And it was just kind of like, I started self sabotaging. I started doing dumb things like I was addicted to drinking alcohol. I started drinking alone. I was doing things that I never thought I would be doing as a self-aware human being. But what I did realize is I had to go through that darkness because that darkness was actually teaching me that first level of not awareness, that first level of reality, that the only way you're going to ever overcome any of your darkness is to share it, is to openly talk about it. Um, when I was actually going through my addiction phase, the first thing obviously is to cower, to hide and isolate and feel shame and feel guilt and feel like, okay, no one's going to understand me. People are just going to judge me for what I'm going through. But it was when I was truly authentic and honest, and I started telling my friends, guys, I have a drinking problem. Like I'm addicted to alcohol. Like I'm sitting here and I'm drinking alone. Like I'll grab like a bottle of wine and just drink by myself. That to me, that was the biggest sign that something was wrong. And what I could have done was cower even more, isolate myself even more, and go down this even deeper, darker rabbit hole. But the only way to combat that was to expose myself. Because here's something that you have to understand. Why do we feel like others are going to judge us? Is because we are losing control of a situation. But how do you regain control? By talking about it. When I can admit that I have a drinking problem, somebody else can't judge me about it because I'm literally sitting there like, yes, this is a problem. Now what? You're going to judge me? Now you're going to say something? Like, what are you going to do? I've already told you what the issue is. That sense of judgment is gone immediately because you took control of the situation. You took control of the narrative. You took control of how you want to show up. Yes, I have a problem, but you know what? This problem is going to be my solution because I'm actually finally admitting it. So that's something that I think people need to really encourage one another to do. When you're going through a bad time, talk about it. Show up. Show up and let the world know that you're going through a dark time, because you have no idea the outpouring of support that you're going to get from people. That's why I joined Clubhouse. I was going through that phase of like really trying to figure out, like I was recovering, I was healing, I was dealing with all my trauma. And I started learning and studying more about emotional intelligence. I started studying, doing more research on, empathy. How do you as a human being show up for yourself, but you can't show up for like you show up for everybody else, but you don't show up for yourself. So these are the kind of things that I started learning only through my darkness. I had to sit there. There was a lot of shadow work I had to do. I had to admit to myself what the problem was. And most of it's all superficial problems. When you really dive deeper, you start realizing, no, I have triggers. I have certain things. And what was happening in my life was I was finally catching on to what those triggers were. I had a bad day. I'd run to alcohol because I needed to mask, or I needed to just escape that day. That, oh, okay, I had a crappy day. Let me just forget about it. Let me drink myself silly till I pass out or whatever like that. I started to realize is not healthy. It's not good. It's going to not only impact me, but it's going to impact everybody else around me too. Because when I show up that way, I'm not showing up as my real self. And I'm actually showing up as a destructive member of society, because I'm teaching other people, this is what you need to do when you're feeling bad. You just escape. And no more escaping. You face yourself, you face the darkness, and that's it. You just got to be okay with it. When you're okay with it, the rest of the world's going to be okay with it.
That's so powerful, Abida.
Thank
Like, I
you.
can't stress over how important this topic is of self-awareness,
Yeah.
and everything you're sharing. I mean, the audience is just is sharing some comments here. um, Abida, you are so brave. Just being able to openly own your truth is so incredible.
Ah,
Thank
thank
you for being here. And another comment from the audience: show up and let the world know that you're going through a dark time. So rightly said. Talking it out with the right people makes a profound difference.
100%. Like, I've never thought about therapy or anything like that until I realized people who seek therapy, it's not because there's a problem with you. It's because you are trying to organize the thoughts that are constantly going on in your mind and the feelings that are constantly arising in you. And you get an outside perspective to kind of sometimes maybe pull you back to reality and align you with what your authentic self is and what your real message is. So therapy, I totally encourage it for people. I know in our community, like I'm from Bangladesh, and our community, we don't even talk about mental health. Like there's no word for mental health in my language. We have the word pagal, which means crazy, essentially. And it's like you mental health is not you being crazy. It's you having certain thoughts that continue to happen in your mind, and you just want help dealing with those thoughts. And so, with the stigma associated with mental health in my community, so many people don't want to talk about it. We're always here to impress people, like, what's auntie blah 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 gonna think, or what's blah uncle blah 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 gonna think? Who cares? Who cares what they think? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we have to normalize this within our own community, within the brown culture, within my Bengali community. And that's why I don't have a problem sharing my faults. I don't, and I'm always about accountability. Ooh, that's something else that I wanted to mention. Accountability. So, so, so important when it comes to self-awareness. If you cannot take accountability for where you are and how you're showing up, you will never be self-aware. You will never be self-aware. It's kind of like shooting yourself in the foot. You can sit there and say I'm self-aware, but if you don't ever take accountability for what you have done to yourself, you will never truly grow. So
It's like I'm waiting to hear some more.
I don't know what else to say because I don't want to like keep talking and then go off topic. So
No, no, no. You're perfect. I absolutely love your insights. I know they're adding value. So thank you. What would you say, Abida, is a problem that you notice in our society with regards to being self aware?
it's actually that judgment of, if you're self-aware, you are considered like a rebel in the community. Like I've always been that person where I don't fit the mold, and I never wanted to. But I feel like I chose my community. I chose this community because I really needed to learn how this community actually works. We have a lot of stigmatization. We have a lot of judgment within our community. And honestly, we as the next generation, we as leaders, we as light workers, we need to be the ones that kind of break that mold and be okay with being that black sheep. It's okay that people talk about me. It's okay that my community sometimes looks at me like, oh, who is this person? Why does she have so much balls to talk about this stuff? Because a lot of people within my community, they would never talk about, I'm having a problem with my husband. I'm going through something right now. I'm going through my divorce, blah blah blah. Most of us are just so busy worrying about everyone else and what everyone else is thinking about us that we don't really live our best lives. I mean, coming from my family, I've seen the lack of self-awareness from my mom's side. My dad is one of those people that, God, he's my hero. He is literally the most compassionate human being. And my mom is so lucky to have a husband like him, because she has gone through a lot of mental health issues that she has never taken accountability for. And she still to this day will not take accountability for. Watching her go through that, it made me realize, as a woman, how do I want to show up for myself and for this world? Do I want to be like this? Do I want to live my whole life always passing the buck and blaming everything else for the things that I know I'm doing to myself? Me drinking is my choice. It's not like, oh, okay, somebody put a gun to my head and said, drink alcohol because you're having a bad day. That was a choice that I made, right? So these kind of little bits of awareness where you contribute to your own demise is so important. That accountability factor is so, so critical. And I got to witness that growing up, how it impacts you as a human being when you don't take accountability. And I just really thought, no, like for me, for my existence, when I leave this world, I want people to not remember me, Abida, but remember the ideas that I talk about, the ideas of self-awareness, transforming yourself through this whole idea of understanding. So many of us want to understand, but what is understanding? Understanding is just the superficial stuff. You kind of get an idea of what this topic is, but understanding is you actually applying that knowledge that you understand and then evolving past it. So if you don't mind, I would love to read something real quick. It was a quick little blurb about the difference between understanding and understanding.
I love that. Please do.
So it says, all throughout our lives, we are constantly going through different experiences, and it's up to us to be truly aware within the present moment to get information out of those experiences. So the more we know about ourselves and the experiences that we're having, the better we will be able to navigate within the matrix, which is important for our spiritual path. We must understand, understand, and eventually overstand the experiences we go through to get the most out of life. Understanding is getting the basic information, like researching. Understanding is when you apply that research and you get the first-hand experience. And overstanding is when you know the ins and outs of that experience. So we should always be striving to know all that we can and keep growing ourselves every day. So become your own spiritual scientist and observe your life for what it really is. Most importantly, through understanding. So that's just a quick little definition or an idea of what understanding really is. It's going deeper, diving a little bit more into the onions, the layers of the onions that you are. So yeah, so I guess essentially understanding is one of the first things you need to do in order to achieve self-awareness. And then through self-awareness, you can start to really learn self-management, which is ultimately the goal that I have with my book too. Shameless plug here. My book, Body, Mind, and Spiritual Alignment, is all about this. Just that self-awareness on all aspects of you, your body, your mind, and spiritually, just becoming more in tune and understanding all three aspects of yourself.
Thank you so much for sharing that, because that was going to be my next question. What is understanding? Um, let's use a case study here, Abida, and try to, if you're able to help with that, I think it would add a lot of value to the viewers. Let's say someone has a decent level of understanding, right? They, from what I gather here, they're aware of how they are or how they're showing up. It could have been, past experiences that sort of shaping the way their behavior is, right? The way their thoughts are, and they're aware of this. And they know that something has to change, because, this happens to a lot of us. Sometimes we're aware that, hey, this isn't right.
Yeah.
And we want to change it. But sometimes it's something that lacks for people to take that action.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice, any tips for people?
I think honestly what it is, it's taking action. Especially, here's the thing, like a lot of us, we're self-aware to a certain degree, but then we don't follow through with an action that is going to solidify what that self-awareness is. Like, for example, some of us, we know that we have certain triggers that get us to a certain point. Let's say you're very angry, or you just react to things in an angry way. So understanding and self-awareness essentially is where, if you don't have compassion and you don't have empathy to build on that self-awareness and then follow through with an action, that self-awareness is kind of useless. It's you choosing to be self-aware and then still not empowering yourself enough to do something about it. What is the point of being self-aware if you don't actually act on that self-awareness, right? So my advice is, if you do see that there's something you're aware of, okay, let's say for example, road rage. I know there's a lot of people with road rage, right? Living in Toronto, oh my God, right? I myself catch myself doing that, right? So like I'll say something dumb like, oh, you stupid driver, why can't you just drive fast, right? But like, when you catch yourself, do you do something about it? Do you actually change that behavior immediately through something? Like, for example, when I have road rage, if I catch myself, oh my God, why are you doing this? Then I'll be like, nope, Abida, okay, just relax, take a breath. This is not serving you. You yelling at yourself in this car is not going to do anything. So what I do immediately is either I'll turn on my CD where I listen to all my little Dr. Wayne Dyer audiobooks or something like that. Just that one little act, that tiny little act of changing the tune, changing the mood, changing whatever it is that I caught myself doing, that trigger that I noticed, then acting on it that's the only way that you can actually change and evolve and grow and actually apply that self-awareness. So I guess that's my tip.
I love that. Thank you.
And I think
Taking
you
action.
also mentioned, sorry to cut you off, you mentioned in one of your posts that reality, that what you believe, what you actually perceive in your mind, that fantasy world eventually becomes reality, right? It doesn't distinguish. Your ego mind will never distinguish those two things. And so something that you really need to be mindful of in self-awareness is, if you see yourself as self-aware and compassionate with emotional intelligence, you have empathy, you start to build that reality in your own mind, and you start to actually meet people that are self-aware, and then you kind of start to repel energy where, or you're just starting to notice that energy where it's not self-aware. I start noticing people who are just so callous and just living mundanely throughout their lives, and I'm just like, I'm not even attracted to that. Like, I don't even want to have a conversation with you, because my spirit, my soul just shuts down. Like, it just shuts down the communication, because I know there's no value in that conversation. Because again, one thing you have to understand is, people will only come to you on the level of awareness that they're at. So yes, I can sit here and try to teach somebody, I can try to explain self-awareness by showing up authentically, but again, if that person is not ready to show up as a self-aware human being, the information is going to fall on deaf ears. So to protect my energy, to protect myself through my self-awareness, my aura, my soul basically shuts down those kind of conversations, because I know it's never going to lead anywhere.
Mhm.
So the more you start aligning, the more everything just starts to kind of make sense. You're attracting all the right people. You are repelling all the wrong people. And the universe is actually just conspiring with you to, just make that happen naturally, with as little pain, as little like bumps in the road, that most of us, deal with. Because yeah, like it, the universe just kind of basically taught me that it has your back when you are really aligned with yourself.
I love that. We have a question here from the audience. How do you allow, or how do you create spaces, or how do you work through a situation when there's someone who is not projecting the most positive energy? Like, how do you go about that situation as a community member, as perhaps a friend, someone who cares for them, but you're not getting a very good energy from them?
I think when a part of the self-awareness that you kind of you learn about yourself is that you're not there to fix a person. You are literally there as a human being, just being a lending ear and holding space. When somebody is coming at me with negative energy, and I know that it's something deeper, and they're not ready to be that self-aware human being to take the advice or take the information that I'm about to give them, the only thing I can do is sit there and just hold space for them to talk. Let them say whatever comes to their heart, whatever comes to their mind. And essentially, as a real teacher, you're not going to solve their problems for them. You want them to come to their own solutions on their own accord, right? You want them to discover, hey, I've been talking to Abida and telling her all my problems. She hasn't once said anything and given me any advice, because she doesn't need to. I already have all the answers. That's the whole point of self-awareness. Self-awareness is where you empower another human being to come to their own conclusions, to realize their own triggers, to realize their own faults, their own weaknesses, their own strengths, by allowing them to talk, by giving them the space to realize things on their own time, not on your timeline, not on the timeline of the teacher or whatever. Yes, it's great. I can offer you a 12-week program or something.
Mhm.
But if you're not ready, those 12 weeks aren't going to do anything for you. You may need 36 weeks. You may need like a couple of years, right? But you have to just be able to realize the only way that anyone and the only way to combat negative energy is to just hold space for that negative energy and have zero expectations other than hoping that this person will realize on their own what it is their problem is.
Beautiful. Well, I love that. There are so many more questions we have, but we have to cut it short because
Absolutely.
we're up 30 minutes. But let's do this quick crossfire round where I ask you a few questions and you just start shooting off. So whatever response comes to your mind.
Okay. I'm nervous.
All right, perfect. No need to be. You got this. All right, Abida. What is your superpower that guides you, push through, and pushes you to be the balancing guru that you are?
Ooh, my super strength is this. I have the ability to really listen. And this is something that I've been practicing a lot. um, I love to talk. I'm sure you can tell I love to talk. But one of the things that I've learned for myself, the only way that I can really spread this message of self-awareness is to practice listening. When I hold space for other people to say things, they are so empowered. And that is a superpower, 100%, to be able to empower other people through listening.
My God, that was amazing. Okay, next. If you had a mic and the entire world could hear you, what would you say to the world?
I would tell the world, stop focusing on just what you look like. You got to look at something deeper. Take care of your body, take care of your mind, and take care of your spirit. When you do all those three things, that is when you will truly start to live your most authentic life.
Love it, love it, love it. Okay, Abida. What's your favorite self-care routine or activity?
Ooh, honestly, it's spending time alone. I know a lot of people don't like doing that, but for me, I need to recharge. This world has so many different levels of energy that in order for me to show up, I have to recharge too. And the only way for me to recharge is to sometimes sit alone. I can sit in my car alone for 3, 4 hours, just staring off into the sunset. I could sit on my balcony for a couple of hours, veg out on Netflix or something. But I need to do that. I cannot show up for this world if my energy is depleted. And the only way to recharge that energy is to spend time with myself.
Oh my God, I love that. If people who have tuned in, they want to reach out to you to further this discussion, where can they find you?
The best place right now is honestly Instagram, just because I'm pretty active on it. I like to post videos. But if you also wanted to speak to me or, just collaborate with me on other speaking events, I would love to do that through Clubhouse. I know Clubhouse added this feature where you can like DM people now. Yeah, so that was kind of cool. But yeah, you can definitely reach me on Clubhouse or through Instagram. Those are the two best methods.
Amazing. Amazing. This was absolutely incredible, Avita. Like,
Thank
we're
you.
getting messages right now from the team
Yay! I'm
saying
so
that
excited.
I loved everything that she said. It hit deep. We love that. We love hearing your feedback. We love, every comment that we receive, any feedback we receive is very, very encouraging for us, right? Because we've been doing this since the pandemic started last year, and we've been doing this every single week on a Friday.
This is awesome. And I have watched the stuff that you have posted, and I feel like your community is so strong. And you got to keep doing what you're doing, Aanchal. You're a true leader. I was telling Ankita earlier that the ability for somebody to gather so many people and notice their strengths and then empower them to use their strengths and then pull from everybody else, that's amazing. You are a true leader, and I'm so honored that I actually met you. Like, I feel like this was a divine connection that had to happen because I love your message. I love this. I'm sorry for the experiences that led you to this, but I feel like that's your purpose. That this is exactly what you needed to go through And these are the messages that you need to share. Like, you are that medium that this world needs, and people are going through you to share their messages, and you are absolutely amazing.
Thank you. That means so much to me, Abida. It means so much to me that you took the time today to come out. I know it's a Friday. I know how busy you are.
Oh,
So
I
I really
know.
appreciate it.
Weekend time now.
Yeah, you go. You're so inspiring. Like, please go follow Abida. She's incredible. She posts some great content. And sometimes, when you're just scrolling through and you come across some of the content she uploads, it does help. It does help. I've been doing this for the last 5 years, but anything that can uplift my vibration, I'm all for it.
Yes.
So thank you, Avita, for the work you continue to do, and the fact that you're investing in your own personal development.
Oh, yeah.
Only goes to show that this is just the beginning. There's so much more to come. And we at Reach Out Together, we want to help you. We want to support this journey. So if there's anything we can do, let us know.
Absolutely.
There will be some rooms that Abida and I will be hosting as well on Clubhouse. And hopefully she can collaborate with us on our room under Club Reach Out Together.
Absolutely.
We host those every Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern time. So let us know.
Yeah, I'm totally be down for it, because I really wanted to especially get into our community and the mental health support that we receive in countries like Canada, and the stigmas that are associated with it. So I'm very excited to have those kind of conversations with you in the future.
Amazing. Can't wait. Really looking forward to it. Abida, do you know what our logo stands for?
It's right?
Yeah. Do you know what it symbolizes? What's the meaning behind it?
No, I actually don't.
No? Okay. So this is two fists put together just like you did. And this in American Sign Language means together.
Oh.
Yeah. So usually people put their palms together and go in a circle. That's how people will know that do it together or come together, right? Come together. We used to color orange because orange in color healing therapy, it brings out feelings of warmth and happiness.
Yes. Yeah.
And our vision at Reach Out Together is to heal the world together, community by community, collaboration by collaboration, event, talk by talk, conversation by conversation. And I really feel like we did that today. So I want to, again, I know the entire team is so grateful for you being here. You kept it real.
Thank you.
And raw, and we love it. Having said that, you are the founder of a company called RAH Inc.
Yes. Yeah. It's going to be like, so RAH is basically this wellness company that I essentially want to create. It's like an umbrella company. I used to make natural products before, raw products, but after that, I'm going to relaunch the product line business soon. But I really want to get more into the service side of business, and I want to offer programs through my RAH Wellness. And I have a lot of amazing things that I have lined up, and I'm really excited for the world to see.
There you go. Please go follow her, contact her, reach out to her. We're in this together. Okay. And if there's anything we at Reach Out Together can do to support your healing journey, please reach out to us. We run a completely free of cost program. It's a resource support program. So if you're looking for resources, perhaps you want to access some sort of professional help, but you don't know where to get started, we have a team dedicated to doing the research on your behalf and sending you custom resources, whether that's psychologists, therapists, counselors, or other self-help supports, depending on what you are willing to try. Once again, reach out to us. We are in this together.
Yes, we so are. I'm so excited.
Love it. Thank you so much, Avita. Once again, you are incredible. Please keep going. Share your message. It makes a difference.
Thank you so much, Aanchal. Thank you so much again for having me. Really appreciate this conversation, and I can't wait to have more with you.
Likewise. All right. Thank you so much. And everyone, I will see you next week.